The Calgary Stampeders owned the BC Lions last season, beating them 4 of the 5 times they played, including the Western semifinal. But the Lions owned something the Stamps wanted: quarterback Doug Flutie. And in the biggest free agent signing in CFL history, Calgary signed the guy they beat regularly last season. And they are hardly riddled with guilt.
Murray Pezin and I still have not worked out. Murray has still not ended up paying me for Doug, so it's very difficult for me to have a lot of sympathy for him at this point in time.
And money is what the signing of Flutie was all about. Money for Doug Flutie and money for the Calgary Stampeders. Larry Rickman feels Flutie was a key ingredient in dramatically increasing interest in Calgary.
I think Doug's a very important part of it, but there was a lot of elements. As I said, it's a pizza, it's a pie, and you need each piece. And what we were missing in Calgary was player identification. You know, Danny Barrett was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but the average person in Calgary didn't know Danny Barrett's name a year ago.
So in Calgary, look for the Stamps to be wildly entertaining with Flutie at the controls. Actually, they were pretty close to that last year with Danny Barrett running things. In a weird twist of fate, Barrett's now running things in Vancouver. The Lions couldn't beat Barrett last year, and now they won't have to try. Predictably, Lions owner Murray Pezin wasn't about to claim to be devastated by the loss of his star attraction.
Let's not take it away from Doug Flutie. He is a great quarterback, you know, and I'm sure he'll do quite well in what he do, but no one is indispensable in this business.
Here's the concern in BC. Doug Flutie was a brilliant short to medium-range passer, rarely throwing deep. Barrett doesn't have Flutie's short-range ability, but he's a better deep passer, and there's a real question whether the Lions have the speed at receiver to make it work.
Right now, we don't have that guy out there. We've got some younger guys that are probably faster, you know, that can run and so on, and once we get a chance to see these guys for real, then, you know, maybe there won't be a problem at that spot.
Barrett's good, but Flutie was brilliant, and the difference between good and great may be very obvious in Vancouver this season. In Edmonton, what's obvious is stability. The Eskimos changed very little from last season, but a question being raised is, should they have made some changes? The fact that they didn't has some people picking the Eskimos for last.
As far as picking us last, that's fine, you know. If we end up last, no one's going to be happy, but, you know, the easy part's picking them. You still have to play the games.
What Edmonton has is very simple. They have Tracy Ham, and on any given week, he can be every bit as good as Doug Flutie. While Flutie runs to buy time, Ham runs for yardage, and he does it very well. But he is also trying to run away from the label that he can't win the big one.
I don't look at it that way. He's got to the big game. Last year, we got to the finals. You know, you can't put all the blame on the quarterback. I think Tracy now, going into his 5th year, is starting to understand the league. He understands the way Coach Diedrich and myself want things done. I think he's going to be a positive influence on this club, and I'm looking for him to have a big season.
But as Ron Lancaster found out when he played, Ham is just one man, and a quarterback, no matter how good, needs help. The Eskimos must give him more help this year if they are going to improve on last year. The Saskatchewan Roughriders will improve on defense this year for 2 reasons. 1, they were the worst defensive team in history last year, and number 2, their head coach, Don Matthews, is one of the CFL's top defensive coaches. And Matthews says there are 2 other reasons.
Tyrone Jones has really solidified our linebacker core, and in the first 2 preseason games, he's been an impact player in both games. Gerald Bayless applies a great deal of pressure up the middle, and again, he probably is as dynamic a person on our defense as Tyrone Jones, so those 2 people in themselves have really changed the face of our defense.
A very ugly face last year. But if they're better on D, they should have a decent season because they have a quarterback that can get them in the end zone in Kent Austin. It seems as though the Saskatchewan fans are waiting to see what this team has to offer before they commit themselves.
We're down about 10% in our season ticket base, but our preseason crowd was the largest one in 10 years. So I'd say there's a tremendous interest in the football club, and anytime there's major change, like there has been during this off-season, we've almost completely reconstructed our defense. There's a lot of interest generated from the fans.
Saskatchewan could finish first. They could finish last. The West is that tough to call.